Welcome to the ASYS booth here at IPC APEX EXPO. I'm joined by Marcus Wilkins, who's the president of ASYS Americas. Nice to see you again, Marcus.
Likewise, Trevor. Good to see you.
So you've been very big in the storage space and the logistics of materials around the factory floor. What are the latest updates to the storage systems that you've got here?
Right. So yeah, with the acquisition of Totec a while ago now, we have storage solutions that are kind of centralized and larger of scale compared to the so-called mini towers along the side of an SMD line. So that's taken off nicely. The latest addition here is the magazine warehouse, where we are offering now a vertical storage solution for the magazines that normally accumulate across the hallways of every facility I go to. Right. So here the idea is to have RFID trackers on those magazines and get those magazines off the floor, off the factory floor, into a vertical storage system that will then of course also track everything, and you have immediate accessibility to all the inventory that normally floats around on your floor.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just making it more traceable, more accurate, more trackable.
Absolutely, and you have it at your fingertips, you know, from any remote location, may it be from a Pulse tablet or remotely from your office. It's available, it's visible. If you have all the magazines on the shop floor somewhere next to line 5, you have to go there and physically check if it's still there.
Right. So maintaining this automation route, we're standing here in front of a stencil printer, which doesn't seem to have a monitor, but it has a lot of tags on the different components inside the printer. What's going on?
Yes, so there's a couple of things on the printer front. We are trying to drive further the Industry 4.0 idea, alleviating some of the stress on the operator, making mistakes and errors. So one of the ideas is to show the next iteration for us. Removing a monitor is maybe a bold statement, but the idea is to use a tablet that I have already on the Pulse line, to use it to operate the process tool, the printer in this case. Imagine a website being displayed differently on a PC versus a tablet versus a smartphone. Similar idea, slightly modified content, maybe reduced to what an operator needs on a daily basis, but still full functionality for an admin, for example, to set up the next job. So yeah, the missing monitor is being replaced by a remote desktop, if you will, on a tablet. Secondly, also we're kind of proud of the NPI award we received yesterday on the RFID setup control. Traditionally, if you want to do setup control, you have to scan a couple of barcodes, stencil, squeegee, paste, and so on. That requires an operator, and if I wanted to, I could scan one stencil but load another one, and the machine would not know the difference. So we have come up with an idea where we have RFID antennas inside of the printer, where we limit the range to inside of the printer, very important, so it's not picking up anything from the outside. Right. And then we automatically detect whatever is actually loaded on the printer. And you can still have up to 10 different IDs, but typically it's squeegees, tooling, possibly the stencil, and then the paste jars or cartridges, depending on what you're running.
So it's basically sensing whether there's paste loaded, or if the volume of paste is there.
No, the volume would be still detected by the automatic dispensing system and the monitoring system, but the type of paste you have loaded on the printer is defined. Yeah.
Great. So you say you could have up to 10 different RFID systems inside one stencil printer? Yeah,
it's an artificial restriction. I mean, typically the historical system can allow up to 10 different IDs. If you get crazy and you want to track other things, you can, but ultimately these are the core things you want to monitor: paste, tooling, stencil, and squeegees.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So, what other new things have we got on the booth this week? I believe you've got something for very fine pitch printing.
Yes, on the higher end printer platform, our X5 Prof, we have a new option called OptiLine Multi-Carrier. Imagine very fine pitch devices we need to print very quickly because volumes are high. I'm thinking maybe smartwatches and so on and so forth. So it's a system that allows you to combine multiple of these mini teeny tiny products with very high precision requirements, and combine them into the print nest, align them individually to the stencil, and then print them in one stroke. So the rule...
Is it like putting them in a pallet or some sort of a jig?
Correct, yeah. Typically you're running pallets. However, the same principle could also be used with individual PCBs, of course, but then the benefit isn't quite as large. But yes, for the really small parts we run pallets. Run, for example, 3 pallets into the printer, and then using a 3-stage conveyor afterwards we separate them again. But the idea is to still have one-part printing, single-part printing, very precise and very swiftly. And then if you clean after every print stroke, you have already printed a multitude of parts. Right. So it's not giving you the same downtime, idle time, if you will, non-productive time.
Yeah, I mean that's the holy grail at the moment, is to have the maximum machine uptime really across the factory.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So moving around to the other side of your booth, I see you have a new laser depaneling option. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so laser depaneling 2018 was quite a breakthrough for us. We sold quite a few of those units, especially here in the Americas. It seems it's not the typical automotive account, it's more the medical or military accounts that are looking for these solutions. The main driver remains it's stress-free, dust-free, no contamination. The big advantage that we have as an automation company is that we can integrate almost any laser we want to. We are not restricted to a single laser source. Regardless of the laser you're picking, you always have to have a certain application that is good for what you need to do. Anywhere between CO2, UV, green or fiber laser, we can pick and choose. We are excited because ultimately this is a new field. They are typically inline tools, they are rather complex, but on the same token they are very precise machines, and the material that's being removed is also a lot less, so there's really a stress-free and contamination-free process available.
Right, right, and it's faster.
It's faster, depends on the thickness, on the material. If I were to say a 62,000 thick board, a 1.6 millimeter board, I think that's not a faster process, right. But at least today there is a process available without a lot of charring or carbonization that you can cut 1.6 millimeter FR4, which up to a couple of years ago was quite not possible.
Well, always great to see some nice changes coming into the ASYS portfolio, Marcus. Of course, it's a Productronica year. You're a German company. I'm sure there's a lot of new products in the works.
I can only hope so. I can only hope so. Yes.
We'll look forward to seeing you then.
Likewise.
Thank you.